the stream, just so you're aware.
I noticed it was 6:03. Were we still waiting on someone?
I was just doing something, but we're ready to go now.
Everybody's here, Jason, but you.
Sorry. It's 89 and I'm melting here, if that makes you feel better.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Okay,
So what's the move here?
well, I didn't know Jason was gonna be here. Are you gonna call the meeting to order, or
I mean, I guess, right? And then we'll need a.
make a motion to allow him to
Okay.
Are you gonna
act
smack the
from
gavel?
afar?
Yeah, I guess so.
Gavel away.
Okay. Jason, sit over here then. There you
Are we live streaming?
go.
or
Yeah,
no?
we're live streaming.
Okay.
Okay, time is 6:04 p.m. The Oglesby City Council special meeting for April 1st is called to order.
Let's do this.
Clerk will call the roll.
Baldrich,
Here.
McDermott,
Here.
Moyle,
Here.
Cullinan,
Here.
Curran.
Here. Remote.
From afar.
Yep.
So I think we'll need a motion and a second to allow Jason to attend remotely.
I'll make a motion to allow Jason to attend the meeting remotely. How's that?
There's a motion to allow Jason to attend the meeting remotely. Is there a second?
I'll second. Help me.
Clerk will call the roll.
Yeah. Baldrich,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle is aye. Cullinan.
Aye. Number 3
Aye.
is and current.
Oh, yeah, and current.
Okay. Number 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the
of the
flag
United
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll take a second. Number 4 on the agenda is public comment on agenda items only. Are there any public comments on agenda items only? Are we sure? Going once, going twice? Okay. Number 5A on the agenda is, I should say, Office 365 overview. So if you aren't aware, if you've been living under a rock, we have transitioned from Network Solutions to Office 365, and this is kind of something that I had been talking about for a while, and it's kind of the transfer is fully done as far as actually migrating accounts to Office 365. But there's still some work to go on moving files to Office 365. A lot of the files we currently have stored locally even, and not on Network Solutions. But I did want to put this on the agenda, though, because it is something very new, obviously. And I kind of just wanted to give a brief overview exactly of how everything works in Office. And so I guess before I do that, I guess I would ask the members of the council, are there any questions or concerns or anything that you have for me that I can address for you right now as it pertains to Office? Because it's a totally different thing. I mean, Hillary, I assume you probably use Office for the federal government, but I don't know if anybody else does. So does anybody have any questions off the bat about how it works or anything like that?
We use it at the office, so I'm
Yeah.
familiar with it.
Okay.
Although I'm not sure how to integrate my access to the city things with
Yeah.
it, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
With your
it's
help.
kind of inconvenient if you have 2 Microsoft accounts, because if you're using the same browser, you kind of have to. It'll be finicky about which one it picks. So sometimes I'm doing something and I realize I'm on my personal email, and I'm like, oh, so I have to move it over. So that kind of irritates me. But you know, it's.
I'll seek your help.
Yeah, yeah. But were there any questions or anything? Because if there's not, what I wanted to do was just talk about a few of the reasons why stuff was moved over. So the first was email, because there were some issues. I felt there were issues with actually accessing records in our emails because of the poor search functionality of our previous email client. But Outlook really isn't the main thing I'm concerned about here. One of the reasons why we pursued, or why I had us pursue Office 365 is the collaboration tools they offer. So in my job, we use, it used to be called G Suite. I don't know what it's called now. It might be called the same thing. Maybe Google Workspace, I think is what it's called. And so the great thing about it, it makes, my job a lot easier, is that you have collaboration tools, specifically built into programs like Google Docs, which is the equivalent of Microsoft Word, Google Sheets, which is the equivalent of Microsoft Excel, and Google Slides, which is the equivalent of Microsoft PowerPoint. And so what we're using, we're using the spreadsheets actually a fair bit now. Chief Margus, Burton, myself, the girls in the office, you guys have access to them as well. But we've been using them to track code violation complaints, I guess is the right way to put it. It's called the code violation log. So basically what happens is there's another functionality called Microsoft Forms. People online go to our forum, they input their complaint and the details about the complaint, and it auto-populates in a spreadsheet that is visible to everybody who has access to the spreadsheet. And so you guys do have access to that. And there were some issues, which is why I had to move some stuff. But you guys do have access to that, and you can view that as well. And so, I mean, I think it's been good. I mean, maybe still a bit of a learning curve to some extent. But I would say one of the biggest problems, at least that I've noticed, is sometimes there's just I don't want to say a lack of communication, but sometimes there's lapses in communication, and being able to document everything in a central location, especially about something that can be as contentious as code violations like that, I think is a good thing. We document. I can actually pull it up here for you. I don't know how much I want to put up here because there's people's names and stuff in it. But I guess people won't really be able to see it regardless. But you can kind of see here, I guess is that the most, I don't think that's updated. Maybe I'm not on the right one. That might be, hold on, let's see. Go to OneDrive. City Council. No, it's an administrative. Spreadsheets, code violation log. Okay, so I must put the old one. There must be like a second copy of it. Whatever. So that's not the right one. It was last edited February 5th, so I threw the wrong one in there. I have to fix that. But basically, I mean, I can show you the old one. What happens is the complaints automatically go in there. You have the type of complaint, the location of complaint, the complaint contact information, the complaint information, who it's assigned to, what's the date of the first contact with the person who complained, complaintee response, did we take action, what are the applicable ordinances that apply to this, what date are we going to follow up with them, and any administration notes and notes on what the solution was. And so, for all the parties involved, I think it's obviously a really beneficial tool, because previously, I mean, I don't necessarily know how we would have been documenting those things, but what I will say though is there's a lot of information that I do think it is beneficial for all of us here to have access to, and we have a lot of stuff that's stored on our F drive in our office that is local. It's not on the cloud, so you have to be on a city computer to access it. And certain things, I think it's beneficial for the, there's a lot of stuff in there that there's a lot of some old stuff in there, and there's stuff that, maybe nobody needs access to, but it's all there. But really what I'm focused on is moving the most important stuff to here so people have access to it. So that spreadsheet's one of those things. But we have a collaborative spreadsheet on that. There's a collaborative spreadsheet. I had asked Jen at one point to ask NCICG what grants we had outstanding, so there's that in there. I think that might need updating or something like that, because it was a while ago. But then there's also the building permits log in there as well. That is current. It's nice for everybody to be able to see, and I think that was a conversation we had as a council at one point. So, just for you guys to access that stuff, if you're not aware, what you do is you go to, you sign in and you go to OneDrive, and then I had to sort stuff into teams because there was an issue with the actual automation process for the complaints. And so every city council member will have access to every single team in the city. So city hall, city and council, administrative city employees and department heads. And so for instance, if you click on city council, you have to kind of go down here where these dots are, and there's something that says like manage access or whatever. You click on that, and then you pick which one you want to go to. So if you go to city council, for instance, you click regular meeting packets, and like the meeting packet for this meeting and the next regular meeting is in there. So you have that. Another tool I think might be beneficial for everybody. I've started using it with Jen and Aaron. Aaron actually, maybe we're getting a little unorthodox here, but Aaron assigned me a task today. I don't know who she is to be assigning me tasks, but she did assign me a task today. It was to update something on the website, our code red specifically. And so I had questions about that, which whatever, but I will do that. It's in my task to be done, so I promise I'll get it done. But there is, if you go down to apps in the bottom left, well actually it won't be, unless you have it pinned, it won't be pinned. If you go to productivity on this page, it's m365.cloud.microsoft. I can send this specific link to you if you need to, but if you go to the planner functionality, you can add it to your apps over here on the left by hitting pin, by clicking the three dots here and clicking pin. And if you click on it and go into it, it's actually, I will say this, with the commission form of government, I think it's, this isn't the political time, but I think it's the right form of government for the city of Oglesby. But what I will say, though, is I think it is very difficult to, I do think it is very difficult to be able to, I don't want to say very difficult, but sometimes it can be a challenge to run, hold on, maybe it's because I'm not letting it pop up or something. Sometimes it can be difficult to run a department when you are not here every day, 8 hours a day or whatever. Even if you're not even able to be here every day of every week for, a few hours at least, it can be very difficult to kind of delegate and whatnot. And so there is this tool in here, so there is this tool in here called Planner. And so basically what I have done, if you take a look up here, is I have created little buckets. Well, first I created a plan. The plan is called Accounts and Finance. But I have created little buckets of tasks, okay? And I still have to kind of assign more tasks, or we have to assign more tasks. We're figuring it out as we go. But what you can do is you can drop tasks into people's buckets, and you can, give them, let's say, like Jen, I'm going to say, I'm going to hit add task, and I'm going to say due minutes for April 1st, 2026 special meeting. You can set a due date on it, so have it done by the 8th, or have it done by Monday or whatever, and then I just assign it to her, Sprat, and then hold on, assign it to her, and then all I do is I hit add task, and boom, it's on our list of things to do. And so, I mean, it depends obviously how, computer savvy your department is and the extent to which they use computers. Obviously in the clerk's office, they're using computers all day. But, I think especially for the commission form of government where you're running a department essentially, you have executive authority over a department, I think something like that is of great value. So you have that. And then I guess I could just show you too, if you did want to collaborate with somebody on something, if you wanted to say, put together, I don't know, some sort of statement or something like that, I'll show you kind of how to use the productivity tools here. So this is a blank Word document. All you do is you go up here to share, you hit, you type whatever you want in here, of course. And then you hit share, And then you have a kind of a series of options here. So I can add people to it. So for instance, if I want to add Hillary to this, and I want to give Hillary edit access, so Hillary can edit the same document as me, you can do that in there. If you want to just allow Hillary to review it and suggest changes, you can do that. If you want to give Hillary view access only, you can do that. And then you can also create like public links as well. And you can share those, you can password protect them, you can do all sorts of things. And so I guess my goal is to, as much as we've talked about wanting to, put policies in a central location. We've talked about, wanting to have building permits in a central location. We've talked about a few different things. My goal is to, not maybe as much as information as possible, but as much information as we deem necessary. It's my goal to throw that in there so everybody has access to it at a minute's notice, right? Because as I've said before, we get all sorts of questions, whether it's about building permits or code violation complaints or whatever, and we might not have the answer to them, but as long as we can go to a specific spot and we know where that information will be, I think it will make the communication side of things a lot smoother. So there's probably a few other things I can show you, but I just wanted to kind of touch on the planner, the collaboration, and OneDrive specifically. One other thing I guess I'll mention is I am also in the process of creating like a city calendar as well, using the Outlook calendar function. And you can create like different calendars, and so if we wanted like a private council calendar that the public doesn't have access to necessarily, we could have a private council calendar. But this is the community calendar, and I basically want to have a public calendar that is available to everybody. So everybody, again, whether it's a member of the city or it's a member of the public, they can, if they're looking at what's going on this week in the city of Oglesby, they can refer to the city calendar. So this is the community calendar where any community sort of events will be posted. And I had talked at one point, and I still would kind of like to go down the path of even allowing community contributions to the community calendar. And so if a business is having a certain thing, or the library is having a certain thing, obviously it would have to be approved by administration, but you could throw that out on the calendar so people know what's going on in the city any given day of the week. So, but that leads me into the policy stuff, which we'll discuss at the next meeting, because we do have a social media policy, and I think that might need to be kind of tweaked to allow, not necessarily have to be tweaked to allow for that, but maybe should be tweaked to allow for that as a form of best practice. But I don't know. Are there any other questions or anything about this or anything else regarding this? If you do have any questions, Jason, did you have any?
I did, but I think you asked if people had questions, and then
Yeah, I heard you so here's the issue. You're not exactly present physically, and so I can't read like body language through a phone. So, but feel free. Please ask away.
Yeah, I do have some comments. I don't know if you want to go around the room and give everybody an opportunity.
Oh yeah,
first.
yeah, that's a good idea. Well, you're sitting to my left, so how about you go first?
Okay, that's fine. First thing I wanted to say is, seriously, I really, really appreciate everything that you have done. You really have gone above and beyond, such as putting like the videos, all past videos, making sure that they're collated and inventoried, so we have that for record purposes. The online violation form, in just plain looking to update our tech. I greatly appreciate, and I recognize that you are going well above and beyond what you need to do to keep us updated.
Sure,
So,
thank you.
With that being said, let me get into the next part. We've had a lot of things be touched upon recently. My concern is, I think we are, my request would be that we update our systems a little slower. So
Sure.
we've upgraded the MyPay system. Mine isn't even working yet. Not that I need mine to work, but I don't know if other employees, am I the only one out of everybody that it's not working for yet? The email thing, when it got migrated, granted it happened when I was on vacation, but still, there was 3 days that I was locked out of my email stuff, and it really caused some problems. I think when I landed back stateside here at 7 a.m., I'm getting texts if I'm ready for my 8 a.m. meeting. And I'm like, what? I don't know anything about it. So, so there's definitely some things. And then when the email came up, I think the problem you're talking about is I was unaware that this new email that you are migrating to is required an authentication system. Well, with people that use authentication in their other jobs and stuff like that, that is a real problem. I can't use even my personal phone for any city stuff anymore whatsoever. It will not allow it to work. And that being said, the shared folders. So for example, the shared folders, I see that you're sending out a lot of access things and a lot of things like that. I don't seem to see any of that stuff. Now it might work on the computer a little bit better, but on remote phone, I can't get into anything. So my point is not that these are bad things to upgrade. I think they're great, but I wish we would roll them out slower, one piece at a time, and 100% make sure that everything is working before we move on to the next thing. Because I think it's causing a lot of confusion. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, sure. Hillary, anything?
I'm familiar with a lot of these things, and so I'm okay.
Very good. Mac, anything to add?
Well, I guess I would have to agree with Curran, maybe go at a little slower step and make sure everybody's done with one stage at a time.
Sure.
Seems like it just piles in all at once. That's
Sure, it's a lot. Rich?
what I'm used to.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes there. You mentioned something about collaborating with other council members and such. Who has access we were having a discussion or something on there, exchanging emails? Does anyone else have any access to that?
To your emails?
To any of that, whatever you're...
So if you make, let's say you're working on a collaborative Word document, you have to add somebody to it for them to have access to it.
Okay.
So. Anything else? No. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point, Jason. This especially is a major thing, so I do get that. But I don't anticipate any more major IT changes being made anytime soon. But obviously I'm going to try and kind of fine-tune this and kind of maximize the bang that we're getting for our buck. But I will work with you on that maybe individually to maybe get it fixed. But I will say, as far as your personal phone is concerned, there might be an issue with it because I do know that this is a government tier plan, and so it has government grade security or whatever. And so I knew I couldn't sign into 2 accounts in Outlook at one time on my own phone either. And so that does present an issue, but it's just part of the fact that it's a government thing as opposed to an enterprise thing, just another layer of security. So, but the other thing I would say too is I would encourage you, because it's actually a lot easier than browser based. So Office 365, the tier plan that we're paying for, does not give us access to the desktop versions of Windows because that's very cost prohibitive. However, you do have access to the web applications and you have access to all of the apps in the App Store. And so you have iPads, you can download the OneDrive app, the Outlook app, and the PowerPoint app, any of the Microsoft apps, and you can put those on your iPads, and it would honestly be it'd probably be easier to access the stuff through app than it would be through the browser, especially on a tablet. Maybe on a desktop that's different, but yeah, Jason.
So I would say the little bit that I've played with it so far on the computer, whether it's the computer at City Hall or the computer at home, I don't seem to have a problem on the web page version. However, on the phone, when I open up the email, it will not allow me to look at the Word. So there was something on the agenda today that had something on a Word document. It will not allow me to open up the Word document via phone.
Okay. Well,
so
yeah.
So there are some limitations that's concerning me. That's
sure.
And my concern is if it's limiting me, it's likely at least limiting some other council members from being able to see information.
So the thing is, it shouldn't be limiting you because I don't have an issue on my end with it. So I think there's I can't speak for other people up here. I don't know if anybody else has used the app on their phone to open any of the Word docs, but I don't have that issue, and so if you are having that issue, it's not so much it's not so much an office issue as it is a configuration issue, which we can get sorted. Obviously, I can take a look at it when you get back if you don't figure it out sooner, but you should be able to.
Yeah, I think the problem is it's because the authentication I used on the phone normally it's causing some conflict, and I haven't taken the time to go through that. But that's my concern is
Sure.
if it'd be one thing at a time, it wouldn't be so bad. But I think we're just rolling things so fast, it's not allowing us to catch up, and now there's like multiple systems that people are struggling with. At least me, anyways.
Sure. I think that's fair, but like I said, I think this will be the last thing for us for a while. So.
Okay. And as I'm saying, I really, truly
Yes, of course.
appreciate you trying to take us out of the dark ages.
Sure,
I really, really do.
Sure, of course, and I appreciate, I appreciate that as well, so. Was there anything else on this topic? Okay, with that being said, the next item of business on the agenda is 5B, discussion and possible action on purchase of tractor for street department, McDermott.
Okay, everybody, you got the emails, right?
Yes.
Martin has got one for $169.9. You should also have the bills, the cost, and we did put Caterpillar in there as well. It looks like Martin's got, if we went to the lowest bid, it'd be Martin. Does anybody have any questions on it? And we also got a paper here that for how much it costs to fix what's needed to be fixed now. And that alone is about $19,841.67. All right. So, any questions, comments, or concerns?
Okay, we'll go around the room, Commissioner Moyle.
I'm looking at these bills here. Am I reading this right? 31,000 over less than 2 years
Yes,
Mhm.
that's what I had calculated,
Yeah.
yes.
for repairs.
Yes.
Repairs only.
That's just the repairs. That's not maintenance.
Okay.
Now with the Martin deal, it's also got a maintenance. When the maintenance comes up, they're gonna give the street department a call and say, hey, it's time for maintenance. We gotta schedule it.
What kind of maintenance? With like oil changes, air filters?
Greasing, whatever's needed.
Okay.
It's in there.
Okay.
That was an extra 7, I believe. And it's something we need. We gotta keep up on it.
Yeah.
gotta be done.
Do you have a plan to keep up on the maintenance besides just using, I mean, cause every time you use it, you're supposed to grease it, you're supposed to clean it, all of that. Do you have a plan and to implement procedure to
Well,
allow
according to
that?
Martin, they actually keep track of they'll be able to keep track of how many hours it's got on it, and when it's due, it's due. They'll come and get it.
Oh. Do they do like a reporting feature?
I don't know that specific on it.
They do.
Oh, okay.
I would
So when they
imagine
do
it
oil
would be
changes,
some
they'll
kind.
Take samples of the oil and see if there's metal in the oil, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll, it's like every 250 hours if you want it sooner, different feeder.
As far as greasing on a daily basis, that will be handled by us.
Right. Yeah.
Bills, on the bills, if you got the 2 last Martin bills,
Mm.
do they have both of them?
Yes.
One for $5,000, that was what needed to be done
Immediately.
to keep machine running safely.
And that was in February, correct?
It's there now.
Oh, okay.
Mark?
You don't have them bills? I gave them the.
No.
Did you guys have them?
I have an invoice date of 2/26/26.
No, that was the radiator.
That's right.
Okay.
So there should be,
It should be on there. Hold
there
on.
should be another one for $5,000 to repair cylinders and tie rod ends.
So that would bump it to 36.
Buy something.
I didn't see it in the stuff that I was sent, so
Okay.
I printed these out. I don't think that was in there.
Okay.
That is the work that's being done now just to make it safe for use. And when you have for
Right.
19,000 and change,
That's what's
doesn't need to
needed
be
now.
done immediately, but if it's gonna be our main machine and we have to keep
Mhm.
it going every day, it's gonna need to be done.
Okay.
So now, if we had a different one and we could put that one on light duty, we would not need the 19,000 at this time. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we could fix this stuff as it breaks down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I figure on a light duty tractor, we could probably get 10 more years out of that machine if we don't have to use it as our main machine every day.
Okay.
If we have to use it every day as our main machine, we might get, we'd have to put the 20 grand in it, we might get a year or two out.
Okay.
And you're
I
still
thought
gonna,
I said-
it's gonna come up next year with our big bill and stuff, it's gonna break. It's just old. That's all.
So I think Mac introduced it, Rich, or, sorry, Commissioner Baldridge, my apologies.
Baldridge.
A number of these issues here, from what I'm reading, I'm not a mechanic or anything, but it seems as if it's like rubber materials and things that possibly were weathered and gave way over the course of, 20 years or so. I think that we should first and foremost be looking at a shelter over any equipment we have, let alone something, if we were to purchase this, why on earth would we leave a $200-something thousand piece of equipment sitting outside to do exactly what this did?
We
Rot
never-
away.
We never leave our tractor.
We never
outside,
leave them outside.
Ever.
They're
So
inside.
this is inside and then all these things happen to that?
Yeah,
Hmm.
they're inside. It's a dirt floor, granted,
So,
but,
It's not a dirt floor, it's not pretty good.
okay, it's concrete.
so on these bills here,
That's-
there's two different ones, I'm not sure, this one says possibly for the backhoe. Did the radiator go out on August 5th of 2025 and again in February of 2026?
I think one was a hydraulic cooler and one was a radiator.
Well, reading through his notes here, he made a claim in here that, let's see here,
Who made the claim?
the mechanic, I guess, return and supply ports more toward the brazing. There were some marks that had to have been from clean up during fabrication. One side was more prominent than the other, and that is where I located the leak. Ordered another cooler. When the new cooler arrived, I opened it up and inspected the ports. There were grind marks on it. This one as well, but did not appear to be deep.
Okay.
Went to the customer's machine and began the disassembly process of the radiator oil cooler once the failed cooler was out. So, I
Is
mean,
that from CAT?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's our tractor for John Deere, that's not for backhoe.
But
Yeah.
Lance, you did say that,
The CAT, that was a skid steer, that needed,
Oh, that was skid steer,
a
okay.
new
Okay.
radiator
That
too.
was that one.
Cause the skid steer's old too. I
okay,
got a whole list of things that are old.
so that
So that
backhoe,
shouldn't-
the one that we're referencing, never goes to CAT?
It's a John Deere.
Okay, so,
Take it to Martin
okay,
or Kittleson's.
okay, so then you can remove the CAT stuff from it then.
This is,
The Deere has never been to CAT, Kittleson's.
no, it wouldn't go to
I
cat.
had attempted to send a licensed diesel heavy equipment mechanic there today to look this over and possibly give us a second opinion on this. If we're spending $20,000 or $200,000, I want some more facts on this. I'd like someone else to take a look at it. He was not able to take a look at that equipment, so I would say at this point, I would like to ask the council to, we have a meeting on Monday, to let this gentleman take a look at that and see if he has the same list of requirements here. I know this guy and trust him, and would like to have him just take a look at it.
Martin is a certified John Deere dealer and service shop.
I get it.
You have to look at it.
I'd like him to look the machine over. Dirt, Myrtle.
Where you want me to bring it to his garage?
No, he came today. I'll see if I can get him to
Yeah.
come again tomorrow.
See if I can, see if I can get to.
So I had skipped over Jason because again he's just a phone over there. There's no body. So Jason, I apologize for skipping over you. Do you have anything to add to that?
First of all, Mac, I appreciate you collecting some more of the details on past expenses and stuff. That's helpful. I don't know if you saw the email I sent you earlier today, where I showed a couple pictures of the smaller type of things. I know some of the other cities are using those kinds of things. What I don't know is if those are additional resources that a lot of cities are using, or if that is the main thing that some of these cities are using because
That's
they're
additional.
smaller, more maneuverable.
I don't mean to interrupt, but that
and
is
have
additional.
a smaller cost association with them. I don't know if you saw that.
That is additional, I mean, you need a
Okay.
backhoe.
If we
it's
retire it to light duty like we were
Right.
suggesting and then get something that's less expensive, would that be an option?
There isn't a less expensive option
The mini hoe.
that the mini hoe can't do it.
Yeah,
But
there's
if we put the backhoe on light duty, you're not
It
using it.
wouldn't be on light duty, it would
Okay.
still be taken. And, you know, I think that makes sense, and I'll let Dan explain
Well-
that, but.
The mini home, you would have the trailer.
Mhm.
And on a water break, not bad, cause you're spending 4 hours on one job. Other than a water break, we're 10, 15 different spots in a day, all over town, running a bucket here, carrying a pump there.
Mhm.
And a mini excavator goes about half a mile an hour with tracks. So it's not like I could drive it uptown.
Right.
Well, I'm not saying it's the end all be all solution. I'm just curious if instead of us maintaining two heavy duty backhoes, maybe one heavy duty backhoe and then this light duty one that has easier maintenance, easier costs associated, and that can be used for more regular things. I don't know if that's something that we should look into, because I'm noticing a lot of cities are going to that option if that's been looked into or talked about.
It was still north of 100,000
yeah, yeah.
plus the trailer for 20 something.
And it would be, I mean,
We have a trailer.
we could use it after we get the backhoe situation.
Right.
I believe that's what's
Right.
down at the electric shop. The one kid bought it, got fired.
To be honest.
I don't see why it's sitting there.
Just a consideration, I wanted us to make sure that we looked at, so that we're looking at all options and stuff. I had a hard time, again, I'm remote, so everything on the email is a little bit difficult to look at, so I had a hard time making out some of the details specifically. So I'll acquiesce to what the majority of the council wants to do with it. I think I heard Rich say that he wanted to have somebody take a look at something for some kind of evaluation, and then wait to make a final decision on Monday. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look at, though, but I think the 5-day request is not a terrible thing if that's going to result in a final action, perhaps.
Well, the only thing is, they do have the tractors available. They're sitting there, but they can't hold them in case another city goes and asks for them. That's,
Mhm.
So the one that was originally quoted, so they have 2 more coming after those 2 that said could be 6 months for the year.
yeah. Which would mean I'd have to figure out a way to rent.
I can hold it, I mean, we can wait 6 months. I've been waiting 10 years. And I brought this up 6, 7 years ago when I went and got quotes, when they were only 100,000. Decided to put 20 grand into the electric department tractor. We were bought then, we're gonna have.
One thing we are gonna have to do, we're gonna have to make sure it's got a maintenance schedule and everything's getting done, so. We'll have to keep that on record.
How do we, I mean, I suppose we have invoices, of course. I mean, do we keep like a maintenance file for stuff though, outside of like invoices that we have here?
I think it's an ordinance.
Yeah. I don't know if it is.
Pretty
But-
sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I
We can
mean,
get a record book
so
or something.
with the
Must be
$20,000 quoted
19.
repairs that you sent, Mac,
Hmm?
I mean, I guess we'd be looking, and removing the cat bills, we'd be looking at having put $37,000 into it over the last 2 years.
Right,
And so, I mean, again, I don't know what the maintenance is gonna look like on it for the rest of its life. I mean, how old is it, Dan?
I don't have the year off the top of my head.
that's about 20.
It's 20 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's over-
and
it's
so
over
I
20
imagine
years
any
old.
problems with it are probably only going to amplify. I don't have an issue, with somebody else looking at it if we really want somebody else to look at it, but I have a feeling that we're gonna have to spend the money probably
Well, while we're spending, like I
Well,
said
yeah.
before we go dumping another $200,000 here, there's other
sure.
equipment that needs to be purchased as well, so.
For sure.
Well, what else
We
needs?
figure
Hey,
between
come on,
the
Dan.
electric department and the street department, we got 20 pieces of equipment. So if we're buying something every 3 years only, that means we're with something that's 60 years old. If
Well,
we don't get on something every year,
Didn't know this was a-
there needs to be some sort of fleet replacement schedule. I mean,
Well, with the deal we get from Martin, at the end of 5 years, whatever's left on the pay it off,
Mhm.
we could always trade it in for a new one. That way, it's constantly.
Well, it's the
rotating.
residual though. You wouldn't really get anything out of it. You just,
Well, it
yeah.
depends.
You would have to just pay a whole new lease, but, I'm okay with somebody else looking at it if we want a second opinion on it. I mean, especially if we can discuss this at the meeting next week. I mean, it's really not that, I can't imagine 5 days hopefully wouldn't make that much of a difference. But I just have a feeling that we're gonna be stuck buying a new one, which, I mean, it is what it is. It's the cost of doing business, but I just think we have to prepare ourselves for that reality.
Well, if the
but-
rest of the council wants a second opinion, I can go get that.
My other question was, I believe, am I reading this right, that the quote that you provided was just a lease, right? It didn't, what if we were to purchase it outright? Would it be cheaper?
Price now is 570,
Yep.
Okay.
whatever that.
Because I don't want us to get into, a backhoe is a huge investment. Every 5 years, I don't
Right.
feel like we need a new one. That would,
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of equipment down there. If every 5 years, I don't want that on the books forever. As prices
Yeah, I got it.
inflate, it's only gonna get more expensive.
Well, and that's kind of the nice thing about, having the lease and having, the residual is, I mean, ultimately that it could potentially be worth, a lot more than what they anticipate it being worth,
And
in
they
the next
did,
5
they
years.
did
but-
explain that sometimes when it comes in for a trade, it's gonna be worth more than what you owe on it.
Yeah, so you might actually,
Especially
50,
with the
what was the
contract.
residual on it, 55,000 or something like
Yeah,
that?
it's something
A
like
residual of 55,000 might be a bargain, in 5 years, but you don't know, but
And you can make the residual whatever you want. You can
Right.
make payments whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's just the way they broke it.
sure.
You know, that brings up another point. Maybe, you said they trade them in when they're done, or the lease is up, they bring them back. Have we looked into any other alternatives to perhaps get one for maybe $100,000 that had 1,000 hours on it or something? Or are we just gung ho, we're going full out gotta have a brand new one?
Matt, can I comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So that quote there, you have a government discount
Yeah,
of
that's the one
about
thing.
7,000, you won't get that on a used one.
Hmm.
So the backhoe itself is not 169, there's $20,000 for the thumb and the hammer, so the backhoe's really like 150.
It
How many
was,
hours a
one-
year do you use on the
149.
backhoe?
How many hours a year?
I know that's probably like hard to be like,
Should be on there.
Every day.
Mm.
And you're
Yeah.
using it a lot recently, I mean, what,
We use it every day.
how many?
Because is the lease limit 3,000 over 5 years?
$600 a year.
Yeah.
600 hours a year. Okay.
How long do you think that's gonna last? I mean, you're probably running it for, 10 hours on a break?
I mean, that's the average, they said, so.
I'm just trying to get an understand, like, it's gonna go way over. I mean, there's no way you guys only use it for 600 hours. That's 60 days at 10-hour days.
Yeah, I mean, you could, I mean, some days might be 2, some days might be 8, even, I don't know, you know what I mean? And if you had the other, if you bought the new one and had the other ones for loading your trucks and stuff like that, you wouldn't have as many
Right.
hours.
Oh, I'm sorry, the other one, you mean the older one?
The older one, if you kept it for light duty, you could load your trucks or push stuff at the line, or do whatever that the new one would
Which-
have to drive back and forth to do. 'Cause like
Like
on a
at the
leaf,
landfill or something.
the backhoe is at leaf digging, and then when you have to go load trucks, it leaves to go load the trucks, and then it comes back. So if the other one was down there, it would load the trucks with the salt that they need, or sand.
Do we have room for 2 backhoes inside?
Big room.
Yeah, be
Okay.
tight. We'll have to make room.
Yeah, we don't let nothing sit outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one plus.
Well, the old fire station's roof is like it's outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a quote of $60,000 too.
Yeah, I know. That's a little bit.
Yeah, so
So-
what we really need is just a concise, or I guess really just a consensus would be the right term on what exactly it is we wanna do. Like I said, I'm fine with what Rich suggested, having somebody else look at it and then addressing it at the Monday meeting. But I I think if, you know, I think we might have to be ready to act and make a purchase on Monday. I mean, obviously, this is a 20.
Well, I have no problem getting a second opinion if that's what everybody
I
wants.
don't have it
I'll-
right now,
I'll
except
get it.
Martin's still getting fixed,
Yeah, that's true too.
so I'm still running a rental as of right now.
Yeah.
Any idea
I
when
don't
they'll
like
have it done?
Should be soon. He was waiting for the,
Yeah.
was to go ahead on the quote on the 19,000 or just.
I'll call them tomorrow and find
Oh.
out.
Oh,
Or I
okay.
can,
5,000 repairs just to keep it running.
yeah.
Where's this, Kittleson's?
No, it's Martin's,
Oh, out here, yeah.
yeah, John Deere
Up by,
in the south.
Oh, that
North
one.
Peru, up by where
Mm,
Sam Brothers.
Peru, Sap
Oh.
Brothers.
So is that the consensus that we want, another party to look at it, get a second opinion, and then Monday we take action on it?
That's what I
If that's
suggested.
what everybody wants, then
I'm fine
I'll
with it.
get that.
Here's my thoughts on that. If this is a piece of equipment that we truly use every day and absolutely need it, we have two of them right now. They're obviously extremely expensive, and they both are in terrible condition. In that case, we should probably buy a new one. Well, let's get it reviewed first, obviously. But I think we should buy a new one and then get rid of the other one and possibly get that miniature excavator backhoe thing that we have on a trailer that we can, you know, and it's stored on a little small trailer inside the shop there. And, you know, for smaller jobs that we need, you take that to where you need in the city to do the work.
Jason.
You know, hopefully that can alleviate some of the workload that this thing does the entire time. So that way we're not, at the very least, we're not maintaining two of these very expensive pieces of equipment that tend to fall apart on us.
Okay, Jason, thanks. But you do understand that you're looking at almost 100,000 for that little one as well, right?
My understanding is that I know that they're still pricey, but apparently they are way easier to maintain, way less cost on the maintenance. I didn't know they were quite $100,000. I thought they were like 70 grand. But to me, that seems like it makes more sense. So at least we're saving costs then by instead of maintaining two expensive pieces of equipment that end up turning to crap on us.
But what you gotta understand is, if you're gonna buy the backhoe, you know, that's gonna take a lot of the finance there. And then you wanna buy one of them as well? I mean, that's
Well,
a
it doesn't
lot.
have to be this year immediately. I mean, we need to solve the immediate problem first. But then I would say we would need to phase out the other one and get rid of it, and then get something that is a piece of equipment that you can use more regularly. So
Yeah,
going forward, that would save our cost on maintenance
Like
going
Rich
forward.
was saying though, we got a lot of equipment here in town that needs to be replaced.
You know, I don't know if I am. Granted, I don't have the information in front of me. I don't know if I 100% agree with that. We have solved the truck issue. We have a phased truck issue now. We have with the new purchase of the dump truck. I believe all of our dump trucks are about 5 years in age apart from each other. So there is kind of a fleet cycle replacement plan. For the electric department, we recently bought a brand new equipment handler. That's the very large one. And then that was within like 3 or 4 years ago. And then I think just 2 years ago, I think we bought the new small bucket truck. So I know there's another piece of equipment there that could be, but I think other than the backhoe situation, I believe most of our equipment isn't too, I don't know where we're at with our mowers throughout the city necessarily, but I know the most expensive thing, which is the backhoe, is our issue.
Well, I would suggest we take care of the backhoe first, and then we'll see where everything lies to possibly get the smaller one.
I mean, I agree. I mean, if it's something that we absolutely need, it's something that's used for emergencies and it's used practically every day, and right now you don't have a reliable one way or another, whether Rich has this person that's going to be do some kind of evaluation or not to see if it's worth repairing, you obviously need a 100% functional backhoe at your fingertips every day.
Yeah, it's.
And
used
currently
every
they're
day.
renting one, so we're not
Yeah.
in any safety issues that I'm aware of. It's a
No.
brand new machine, so I don't feel that we're being pushed to hurry up and make this quick decision and throw that money out there and then regret it later.
That's a fair assessment. Let me ask you, Mac, what is the rules of how long we are allowed to be able to rent this
We're
thing, and how
allowed to
much
rent it
that's
one
costing
month
us?
at a time.
As long as you pay for it.
And then you got to, yeah, well, I hope so.
What,
That's
remind
all-
me
that's how
again,
long
what is
you
that
got.
costing
You
us
got-
per
you
month
keep
to
paying
rent?
for it,
You
you
can
get it.
run it for a month,
Oh.
but they won't rent it for long term. You'll have to turn it in, possibly wait about 3 weeks, and then rent it again.
Or rent from another.
Or rent,
What's
like you were starting to say, Rich, rent from another dealership.
What's the cost, Mac? For a month?
3,800?
45?
I
Yeah.
heard
I
3,800.
couldn't hear that number. Say that again, sorry.
4,500?
About 45,
There was a bill here for 3,800.
that could be it.
The one we are renting now came from the city of Mendota. They traded it in to get a new one.
Yeah.
It's only 3 years old.
Yeah,
Mendota wants to, they wanna have good equipment,
Wow.
they,
And it's
yeah.
beautiful. and they got rid of it to get a new one.
Yeah, he had mentioned other towns are on like 5-year programs.
Yeah, usually that's what they're saying.
Another thing with having I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm over talking somebody. If I am, I greatly apologize since I can't see everybody.
You're fine.
So another reason that it's easier to maintain one of them, because you're saying we have this one that's already 20 years old and the other one's in worse shape.
Yep.
By having only one in more of a mint condition in the mini excavator, it makes it a little bit easier to life cycle through one primary backhoe on a more regular basis. I think the long-term savings in that might be good. I don't know if I like the idea. Maybe we don't have to get the mini backhoe for a couple years, so that way you get a little bit of separation from them.
Yeah, we could look into that. But I'll ask, does the council want me to get a second opinion? Let's take care of one thing at a time.
Yeah, I'm fine with it myself, but
focused.
like I said, I think, I mean, $20,000 worth of repairs, whatever, I do think that we have to be prepared, for the worst, which is obviously buying a new one, so as long as everybody's open to the idea, or everybody's willing to purchase a new one, should we get an opinion that's not favorable, I'm okay with that, but I have a strange feeling that we're gonna, have to buy one, so.
Hillary, what do you think?
We've got a safe piece of equipment here today. Get the second of opinion. We'll work on figuring out if we have to wait till May 1st and put it in the budget to finance this new piece of equipment, etc. The immediate concern, everyone's safe today, right? So,
And if it does go over a month, then I could rent another one from another dealership, I guess.
I'll let you have this one a couple.
I should
Well, we'll figure something out.
I should have ours back within probably next week. They said they were almost done with the repairs.
Well, how's he gonna look at it, where he's not gonna
Yeah, I
be able to go into their shop and
Well,
check?
when he gets back, I'll get ahold of him.
But if the meeting's on Monday, today's Wednesday.
They told you, Dan, they told you that today, that they'd have it done by next week?
He said he was almost done with the repairs, he just was working on the tie rod ends. But,
Okay.
I could get a hold of Dirk and I could get him to get a hold of Chad Lambert, he's the service head department there.
I just think it would be pretty awkward to go
Why?
over there. I don't know, it's like you're taking work right out of a shop. If he's just giving an opinion, I don't know. It would also kinda
Right.
look like he was questioning this guy,
Well,
like
yeah.
right there.
Well, I mean, we're
I'm
kind
just
of,
looking, I mean,
we're,
I
we're
go to a
kind of
doctor.
doing that right now by
Yeah.
asking for a second opinion, period, so.
I go to a doctor, I wanna see two opinions. I'm
Right.
not saying the doctor's not any good, but I'd like, to make sure, that's it.
Well, if you're gonna get open heart surgery, you definitely want more than one.
I mean,
That's
we're not
why
talking
we had
pennies here.
Cat and
This is a
Martin.
$150,000,
new ones.
$200,000, that's, I think we owe it to everyone to do our due diligence.
Yeah, we're averaging, what, 37, we're averaging about
37.
$18,000 in repairs a year at the moment, and.
I don't know how you're gonna come up with an average on a piece of equipment like that.
Well, I mean, it's a limited,
You never know.
kinda.
Anything can happen.
Limited sample size there, but, I mean, from what we have here, we're averaging about $18,000 a year, $18,000 a year in repair, and then when we have to rent one, we're renting it for $4,500. The payments on this are, if you do monthly payments, it's, about $2,400, so, I mean, just whatever, but, I just, like I said, as long as, you know, Dirk says, you know, we need a new one, I think we need a new one, so.
I have no problem.
Okay,
with
if
that.
that's,
I just wanna take a look, I don't feel
Opinion.
comfortable throwing that kind of money around and
well,
not having
nobody should.
someone else
Okay,
saying
then
don't.
I think there's a consensus, let's do that,
Yes.
yeah.
If there's
move
a
on.
consensus, I'll get a hold of Dirk, I'll get a hold of Tractor.
We do have the
I'll-
labor attorney waiting for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
A
wow.
what?
The labor attorney's waiting for us, so
Ooh.
I don't mean to cut anybody off, but
I think,
Yeah, it's getting-
I think we agree, so we'll move on. Number 6, public comment on any topic. Seeing none. Number 7, executive session for collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives or deliberations concerning the salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. 5 ILCS 120/2C2.
make a
Is there
motion.
a motion to go into
Second.
executive session? McDermott with the motion, Baldridge with the second. The clerk will call the roll.
Baldrich,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
aye.
Cullinan.
Aye. We are entering closed session. There's nothing on the agenda when we come out, so thank you, everyone.
Hey, Austin, can you switch over to my city phone?
Yeah.
This line,
Will do.
I've been up since
Yep,
6
yep,
a.m.
I got it. Yep.
Should I keep the rental in? Is he gonna, they're gonna strip it down and I'm not gonna have it? Or-
make the motion to adjourn. I never get to make motions.
You wanna make a motion, Jason?
I have to call roll call first.
I never get to.
Okay, we are back in open session. Clerk will call the roll.
McDermott,
Here.
Baldrich, Curran,
Here.
Moyle,
Here.
Cullinan.
Here, item number 8 is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Well, motion by
second that.
Baldridge,
No, you.
Second
Come
by.
on.
second by McDermott. Clerk will call the roll.
Deny me everything. Deny me everything.
McDermott, McDermott, Baldrich, Curran,
Abstain.
Moyle,
Too bad.
and Cullinan. Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
You can stay here, Jason.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay,
All right,
meeting's
have a-
adjourned.
have a
Hanging
good
up on
one.
you, Jason.